because your redemption is at hand.
Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
While some people were speaking about how the temple was adorned with costly stones and votive offerings, Jesus said, "All that you see here, the days will come when there will not be left a stone upon another stone that will not be thrown down." Then they asked him, "Teacher, when will this happen? And what sign will there be when all these things are about to happen?" He answered, "See that you do not be deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am he,' or 'the time has come.' Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified, for such things must happen first, but it will not immediately be the end." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be powerful earthquakes, famines, and plagues from place to place, and awesome signs and mighty signs will come from the sky. Before all this happens, however, they will seize you and persecute you. They will hand you over to the synagogues and to prisons, and they will have you led before kings and governors because of my name. It will lead to your giving testimony. Remember, you are not to prepare your defense beforehand, for I myself shall give you a wisdom in speaking that all your adversaries will be powerless to resist or refute. You will even be handed over by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You will be hated because of my name, but not a hair on your head will be destroyed. By your perseverance, you will secure your lives." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
On one occasion, while Jesus was preaching about the end of the world, he told his apostles that the time for the end of the world is hidden within the plan of God the Father. Actually, he was able to dismiss questions about when all this will happen as insignificant. And so the church teaches us that we do not know the time for the consummation of the earth or of humanity. The scriptures and other teachings of the church calls each one of us to understand that God purifies what he has created, but he does not destroy it. God directs what he has made towards perfection, not annihilation. And so the church also teaches us through the Vatican Council that we do not know how all things will be transformed. As deformed by sin, the shape of this world will pass away, but God is preparing a new dwelling place, a new earth, where justice will abide, and those blessedness will answer and surpass all the longings for peace on the human heart. An example of how God works underlies today's gospel. Jesus was predicting that the Jerusalem temple would be destroyed. This prophecy was fulfilled about 40 years later, on August the 9th, in the year 70 AD, to be exact, when the Roman soldiers set fire to the structure. It was a sorrowful day for God's people. Yet, we believe that the physical temple was replaced by Jesus himself, who said, speaking of his own body, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The temple was a magnificent building wherein the worship of sacrifice was offered to God. Now, throughout the world, we worship the Father in spirit and in truth because of our own union with Jesus Christ in the liturgy. Jesus more than fulfilled both the beauty and the purpose of the temple. In somewhat the same way, the world and the universe will be brought to perfection when Christ comes again in glory. The truth about the end of the world is based both the power and the love of God. God's power gives him complete control over the whole universe, and of his love for his creation moves him to bring it to perfection. That perfection will be achieved when Christ comes again. The Lord will come to rule the world with justice. During the liturgy of the Holy Eucharist, we acknowledge that Christ has died, Christ has risen, and Christ will come again. As people of faith, we should look forward to the second coming of Christ without anxiety. We should not dread it as something that we should. That is why we also pray to God the Father, "Lord, protect us from all anxiety as we await in joyful hope for the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ."